Elite International Scrabble has returned to Thailand in the form of the Bangkok International Championship. It's a testament to the strength of the field that after the 22-game main event leading into a 2-game finals, Nigel Richards was on the outside looking in. Instead, the two finalists were Thailand's own former world champion Panupol Sujjayakorn, one of the most accomplished Scrabble players in history, and Singaporean Grandmaster Hubert Wee, currently ranked number 7 in the world and one of very few people to play Nigel close over a long sample size. Unsurprisingly, this finals match was an instant classic. After Hubert's opener of Flota, Panupon dumps vowels and the X with his top move of Ixia. Hubert draws into similar vowel problems and opts for Hugh to set up multiple new spots for his S. While Panupon cruised through the main event to secure a finalist spot with rounds to spare, by his own admission, he's still a little bit rusty compared to years past, and here he makes an uncharacteristic mistake, playing the invalid word routish for 97 points. He's likely conflating the valid words loutish and ruddish or runtish, so Hubert immediately challenges the word off the board. Realizing that Panupon has valid bingos of shoutier or out highers through the E, Hubert eschews higher scoring plays to block them both with wenge. Panupon shrugs off the mishap to find by far his best move of Eurolith through LI on the board for 40 points. Hubert could just play his F with Fox here in response for a solid 18 points, bingoing frequently with 7-letter words hooking Euroliths, but he already knows that Panupon still has an S after his last play since he already showed all of his tiles. So Hubert instead elects to deny Panupon the S hook and score much more with Ferns, a great adjustment on his part. Panupon draws 3 eyes and dumps 2 of them with the clear best move of Fini for 21, and Hubert answers with Caw, holding solid bingo tiles. Panupon lands the first bingo of the game, hooking his S onto Caw to play Soloist for 75, and Hubert answers with his only playable bingo of Insetted to keep pace. This move opens a triple, and Panupon has Yeed available, scoring well and keeping the S for next turn, but he elects to burn his S for 12 more points with Seedy instead. This is a very savvy choice on his part, as the S won't actually do him much good here holding the Q. What he really needs is a U and other tiles that will let him score well with it next turn. Hubert scores well with his J with Jur for 40, and while Panupon doesn't draw help for his Q, he does draw the first blank, giving him ample motivation to dump his Q for 31 and aim to bingo next turn. Holding weak tiles, Hubert plays Outlay for 18 to balance his rack, and Panupon seizes the lead with the stylish overlap of Hambone for 70. Hubert answers with Mac for 27, keeping good tiles and opening a decent lane in the K, and after Panupon responds with by far his best scoring move of Zerom for 56, Hubert can upgrade from his bingo of Dakering to the even better De-airing for 74. Next, Panupon plays Gov for 18. Why not use up the weaker U instead of the O here? Panupon knows there's only one more vowel in the bag that plays parallel to the G. Keeping the U allows him to threaten strong follow-ups in this spot that Hubert can't address without the last A. Although Hubert does have that A and plays Peace for 42, Panupon draws flexible tiles and has several winning plays here. The best of them is tough to spot, but he manages to find it. Query for 49 points, slotting in beautifully between the Q and E on the board. After Hubert's Void for 8, Panupon takes game 1 by 25 points. That means Hubert needs to win game 2 by 26 to win the tournament. His road gets even tougher as Panupon draws the first blank straight away and plays Bib for 14. Hubert can play Yay for 22, but he sacrifices 6 points to keep an even better bingo leave with I instead. Panupon answers with his top scoring bingo of Krynos for 81, while Hubert is forced to balance his rack again with Seat. Panupon is close to another bingo after his top move of Gourd, leaving the solid IRS, but just in time, Hubert gets down Saluter for 81 to keep pace. Next, Panyapon's top equity play is wit for 25, undoubling his eyes and scoring well. This move would create potentially high scoring overlaps for Hubert, so Panyapan sacrifices just 1 point to play the much safer twig. After Hubert's node for 21, Panyapan can play rations for 73, but rather than give back the huge orations hook, he picks a safer positioning, once again sacrificing 1 point to do so. It's a good thing too, because Hubert bingos immediately with radios for 75. This move is ever so slightly safer defensively than the anagram of roadies in the same spot. It's also a relatively newly added word to the dictionary compared to roadies, and Panyapan decides to challenge it just to be sure, giving Hubert 5 extra points when it comes back valid. After thinking for several more minutes, Panyapan winds up spotting his highest scoring option with the second blank of Medicant for 86, widening his lead to almost 100. Hubert can cut this deficit quickly with Fizz for 50, but his leftover tiles would be atrocious. Instead, he sacrifices 22 points to play Vum. This is an excellent play, since drawing either an E or an I would give him 60-point Z plays next turn and avoid saddling him with such awful tiles in the future. Panyapan draws an unwieldy Q for the second straight game, but the rest of his tiles are strong, and he plays Hake for 58. Both of Hubert's target spots remain open, and he draws both of the vowels he was after. He also draws the J, and realizing that the overlap of radios is a great place to play a J-bomb, he plays Fizz to score 61 points and leave that spot open. Next, Panyapan can play the logical Kadi for 28 to balance his rack. He takes a more defensive tack here with Chin for 35, scoring more points while also blocking the last good S-hook available on the board. Not only that, there are no I's remaining in the pool, making underlaps of the Q impossible and adding to the defensive value of this move. Still, this move does leave Hubert's target spot open, and he hits Judo for 51 there to keep his chances alive. Panyapan has to be happy with the board at this point, with no opportunity for 8-letter bingos and similarly bleak prospects for 7s. He plays his top scoring move of Aleph, padding his lead and keeping things tight. Hubert can't do much to open and patiently plays Wow for a solid 32 points, but Panyapan draws the X and bombs it in the simple spot for 52 points. Very, very few players would know that exarations is also a valid word, scoring 10 more points. While Hubert manages to draw Negator, the board appears to be totally dead. But amazingly, Hubert sees that the word still fits with 6 overlaps underneath radios for 84 points. This move empties the bag, sending the players straight to the endgame. Panyapan spots his best endgame move here of Apply for 37. Hubert seems destined to lose, let alone win by the 26 points he needs. Panyapan has 2 places to play his remaining letters that cannot both be blocked. Rather than simply concede and play the theoretical best move of Heavy, Hubert comes up with a clever plan. He plays Ahi for 26, blocking one spot and hoping Panyapan will miss the other. Hubert's remaining tiles threaten Vestry for 36, and Panyapan can't block that even if he wants to. Under severe time pressure, Panyapan doesn't see Leng and plays Gin for 5, allowing Hubert to go out with Vestry and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But his winning margin is just 14 points, not quite enough for Hubert to win the overall match. Even if Panyapan had allowed his clock to dwindle just a few more seconds, incurring a 10-point penalty, that would have led to a 24-point win for Hubert. So close, yet still so far. Despite this endgame and routish in Game 1, Panyapan showcased an extremely high level of play overall and was a deserving winner. Hubert also deserves kudos for a fantastic performance. In fact, he wouldn't have been in the finals at all if not for an unbelievable ending to one of his late-round games. In this seemingly doomed endgame position against up-and-coming Thai expert Natapat, Hubert spotted the incredible Estrildid for 76 points for a miraculous comeback win. This isn't even the first time this word has been played in Bangkok, as fellow elite grandmaster Austin Shin did the same thing in 2018. Apparently these birds are native to Australasia, but clearly they're at home in Thailand as well. Once again, congratulations to Panupol and Hubert, and as always, thanks for watching.